Okay, so while I wait, let me just sharply pin the topic. All right. Let me just pin this topic. Yeah, our guest is here. Hi, sis. Hi, Kemi. Hi, quintessential Kemi. Hello, husband. Hi, Adeka. Good to see you. How are you? It's been so long. Awesome. So my topic is pinned. Whoosh! Hi guys. Hi everyone. Happy Sunday. Super excited, elated, joyed that you are here. So we'll just wait like 2 minutes and then we jump right at it, and I am so happy that we're doing this today. How was church? How was Sunday? Honestly, my Sunday has been good. My Sunday has been very good. Very, very good, right? I had a great time in church. Church was fun. Church was amazing. Thanksgiving Sunday. I hope it was same for you. And I'm excited about today's topic. I'm excited about my guest today. I'm excited about a lot of things because we've been talking about hi Wale, welcome. We're talking about raising children, right? And then we've done a lot of talking about parents. We've had quite a number of people that have come talk to us about the role of parents in raising children, right? And then today we're wrapping up this raising children series. So we're going to be talking about the role of teachers in raising children, and we don't have so much time to do, so I'm just going to jump right at it. So I'm going to take the opening prayer. Once I take the opening prayer, I'll tell you how I met my guests, and then I'll just ask her to send me a request. I want to see friend request, so you can still send me a request, Kemi. So we'll just start, right? So Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for today. Thank you for today's show. Thank you for how far you've helped us, how you always help us, how you always help us. We are so grateful. Thank you for all that we'll learn today. Thank you for all that we'll discuss today. Thank you, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be glorious. There will be a lot of light shared. There will be utterance. There will be grace, wisdom. Thank you, Lord, because everything will go well. In Jesus' mighty name I've prayed. Amen. Hi, Nancy. So good to see you. Okay, guys, welcome. Today we're talking about the role of teachers in raising children. And like I said, we've been doing this series for a little over a month in terms of raising children. Hi. All right, but today we're wrapping up this series with the teachers edition. In January, right, a friend of mine she had a conference on intentional parenting, and then she had some few persons there, and my guest today, the quintessential Kemi, please send me a request, right? You can send me a request now. She was one of the speakers, and she spoke from a teacher's perspective in terms of communication with children, and it was amazing. Immediately after that program, I followed her. I even spoke to her. I told her that you're going to come to my show this year, right? And that was in January, and look at the manifestation. It's happening now in August. I met her in January, and I knew that she was going to come to my show this year. When, I didn't know, but I'm so excited that she's here. She's a bundle of knowledge. She's very, very learned. She's an award-winning teacher. If you follow her, and you should follow her, please, after now, just follow her. If you listen to things that she says, you will know that she's sound. She knows what she's doing. She's not just your random regular teacher. She's like graced for this. It's like a ministry, like a calling to her. So she does it with all of her heart, and the way she talks, the pictures, the things she shares on her page in terms of talking, teaching, communicating with children. She also has this card. She'll talk about it, when we're about to wrap up. On how parents can communicate with their children with questions, like a question tag, questions that you can ask your children. Amazing, so good. So I'm just going to invite Kemi right now. Sister Bimbola, welcome. So good to have you here. I'm excited with everything we're going to share today. I wish that we had all the time in the world. We don't have so much time, but with what we have, woo! Kemi's here. Hi.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Great to have you here. How are you?
Fine. Good to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. I'm super excited that you are here. Thank you. And well done on everything that you are doing. And God has only just started with you. Keep going from glory to glory in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Well done. Well done. All right, so everybody, here's my guest. Please help me welcome her. Show her some love. We're excited that Kemi's here. And we're going to be having an amazing, super, super amazing time. And because we don't have a lot of time, you have constrained me in my neck. I'm just going to jump right at it. Okay, so today we're talking about the role of teachers in raising children, right? So first off, I know it's a no-brainer, but do you believe that teachers have a role in raising children, or you think it's just parents that have a role? Let's just start.
So, I mean, absolutely, teachers have a role in raising children. It's more like a 50-50 thing, even though sometimes that equation is not always balanced. But teachers have a role as much as parents also have a role.
Amazing, great. So that's the easiest part of the question. Now we jump right at it. So, but let's start from here, right? You know, we parents, the most sad is that you just drop your child in school and then you go there, you come back in the evening or in the afternoon, depending on when they close to pick them up. So when we drop our children in school, what happens from there? What is a child's third day in school like?
Okay, so from the point when you drop your child, maybe at the school gate or the reception and all that, the child most likely walks into his or her classroom, and then the teacher is waiting to welcome the child. I mean, that's something every teacher should do. Welcome the child in the most creative way as you can. I mean, every teacher devises different ways to welcome your children. Different ways. You want to give them hugs, you want to give them high fives, just something. And then they're welcomed into the class, they settle down into the classroom, and then the day starts for them. Different engaging activities to motivate them, activities, I mean, across their different subjects. It's playtime,
Awesome.
maybe they go to the playground or something. In the midst of all of this, the teacher is observing them, the teacher is monitoring them, the teacher is giving feedback, the teacher is instructing. So yes, there are many activities that the teacher is doing, but there are some things that are negotiable. So yes, there's playtime. There's food time while your children are eating. Is a teach. We are the ones as teachers sometimes that force the children to eat. That tell them why they eat what mommy and daddy have prepared. I said the teacher wears so many hats or so many roles. Like the teacher is a nutritionist and a dietitian. They are the one that needs to tell the child why they should eat that apple when they say no, I don't want to eat it. We are the psychologists, we are the counselors, we are the party planners. When they have birthday parties, we are the ones that have to arrange the classroom to make it look good. Photographer sometimes. What else? We are the planning excursions for them. Where many roles. Of a regular class.
Amazing, awesome. Thank you for giving us a brief on what happens with our children when we drop them in school. So now I think I'll just go straight to it, the role of teachers in raising children. So please, can you highlight some intentional or specific roles that teachers do with children when they're in school in terms of raising? Now we're talking about raising children. What are some of the specific things that teachers do or should do to balance the 50 of their side in raising children?
Okay, so one specific role every teacher must do is to observe the children you work with. Basically, our primary duty as teachers in the classroom is to deliver curriculum instruction. We have to teach content areas, teach your math, teach your English, teach your science and all that. But there's so much more because, you have to form a relationship with children. You need to bond with them correctly for them to actually internalize the content knowledge you're giving to them. So as a teacher, you might be so good in math, you might be so good in English, but the children don't connect with you. So they're not tuning into your radio frequency. That's right. Work. So bonding with them is important. Just like parents will also do that with their children, teachers must also work with their children, establish a connection, establish that relationship. In the midst of doing observing them, you're observing changes in the children, you're observing the child's strengths, weaknesses, capabilities. What are some things the child needs to improve on? So you're observing everything. Social skills, all of that. You're giving feedback on their work. So it's something teachers do. Now it depends on how the teacher actually gives the feedback. But yes, every teacher must give feedback to children based on the work they do. And then what else? Encourage them, motivate them, be role models to them, setting a pace for them to follow, because most often children will do what you do rather than do what you say. So as a teacher, you must be sure that I reflection to them. Yes.
Great, awesome. Thank you. Children, I like the children do what you do and not do what you say, right?
And yeah.
Awesome, awesome. I have to write that down. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Now, the part that the part that comes with expectations from parents, that is very interesting, right? Now, what are some things that parents, and I know that you probably would have had various encounters, because I mean you relate to a lot of parents as much as you do with teachers. Parents expect that teachers should do that on a good day. It's the parent that should do. If the teacher does it or choose to do it, it's not like it should be imposed. It's not my role, right?
Sure.
But parents have just maybe slapped on it and said, this is what you should do. So what are those things that parents expect us to do that isn't really the role of a teacher?
Okay. So, I mean, one of the things, so I'm going to talk from my own, personal experience in the classroom.
Yeah.
One of the things some parents do, in terms of expectations is, so some things happen at home. Maybe the child has misbehaved or something. And now the parent wants you as a teacher to discipline the child for what the child has done at home. So I get a call from a parent telling me, do you know what your daughter did today at home? She did this to her sibling. She scattered the house. When she comes tomorrow, please give her 3 strokes of cane. And I'm wondering, okay, what happens at home? So teachers see, in disciplining children and all that, but it doesn't extend to what happens inside the house. Parents must assert their authority inside the house without trying to always push it to I'm saying that because I've had a number of experiences with that. Now the parents are only able to do that because they've seen that the teacher has some form of authority over the child. They've seen that respects the teacher. So that same way the child values the teacher, respects the teacher, holds the teacher in high regard, the child must also have that same feeling for the parent too. Now, what I feel is most times parents become friends with their children too early. And I'm going to clarify this. Now, I'm not saying parents should not, but there are stages growth and development or nurturing. When you nurture a child, right? Those
Amazing.
Yes, those formative years, maybe 0 to 7, 8. You're grooming them, you're shaping them for the whole stretch of their lives. Yes, you should be friends with them, you should bond with them, but you must also assert your authority. Once the authority is not there at that stage, when you become, too early, you become friends with them, they're in quotes, paddy, too early. That authority, you won't be able to have that authority over them. They're growing. There's that stage where you can really have authority over them, put them in their place when they need to. There's another stage when they go into the age road, which is another stage entirely. So yes, I think I've been able to. Well, let me just add one more thing. Another expectation sometimes parents have from children is when they want us to do instant magic. Yes. So, please, can you hear me? I don't know if I'm still audible.
Yes.
Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, you can't hear me. I can hear you.
Okay, so another thing, when it comes to expectations is the instant magic syndrome, where a child has a particular challenge and the parents feel that the teacher should do some magic to sort it out in 1 week or maybe just few days, without understanding the depth of that challenge that the child has. Sometimes a child has a challenge that the parents are also supposed to do their own part to correct it, but they feel, no, everything should be you in the classroom. For example, your child has spelling challenges. As the teacher, we're going to work with your child. But what else happens when your child comes home? Do you have spelling drills with your children? Do you have a corner in the house, maybe where you put words on the wall to help that child to get to know some words? What is your own role? So that magic syndrome is something I know. Yeah. So I think that.
Oh, amazing. Okay, I think you're 100% correct. Instant magic, right? Then do you think that, like some things, I don't know if if you deal with this class of people too, like potty training, feeding, parents would want you to help potty train their children, and then they are not potty training at home, but they want you to do it in school, feeding, like the children don't are not eating at home. Or I don't I mean yeah, and it happens like here quite a lot, but when they're in school, there's a way the teacher, one way or the other, just knows how to ensure that the child eats. Is that an unrealistic expectation as a parent to the teacher? Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, so I think no, she's going to be back. She's going to be back. I'm really enjoying myself. Anyways, for those who came in while I was talking, welcome. I think I saw when I saw I've seen Sarah, landlady. I saw oh my God, that's right, Madam Landlady, King Capel, Joy. Welcome, 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 welcome. Sorry if I didn't go all the way up, right? So we're talking about the role of teachers in raising children, and I just highlighted two major expectations that parents have of teachers. We have is the parents that should do themselves. Now, just talk about instant magic, like you just expect that because the child is in school, like if, for example, a struggling child, automatically the teacher is going to do everything, and then the parents just chill. I tell that teacher will have the magic important so that that child, can overcome that phase. And there's also talk about discipline, right? And how sometimes, parents will neglect their role in providing discipline for their children at home and expect that the teacher will discipline a child for something that he or she has not done at home, right? And that really is very funny. So if you're a parent that does this topic, your child does what is wrong at home. Discipline your child at home. When they get to school, right? I'm sure that there'll be when children do what is wrong in school, the teachers are equipped enough to discipline in school. They cannot discipline them for what they've done wrong at all. I feel like children cannot even remember what they probably did wrong. Welcome back. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, I'm so sorry. The network threw me out. Can
No
you hear
problem.
me?
100%. I hear you well, loud and clear.
Okay.
So, do you hear my last question? It was just an addition to what you were saying about unrealistic expectations.
Okay, please, can you go over it again? I think the network was buffering.
Oh yes, I was saying that sometimes parents want teachers to help with potty training, and they're not doing the potty training. They want you to help with feeding their children because the children will not collect the food from parents, but they can collect it from the teachers. Do you think that is an unrealistic expectation also?
Okay, so what you said is absolutely true. For me, I don't see children at that stage. That potty training.
Yeah.
But I know that it will definitely be a struggle that teachers at that stage will have. Just like I said earlier, it's like a 50-50. When teachers are doing their part, parents must also bring their own part to the table to make the equation balance. So you can't want your child to be in school and then you're not following up with it at home. It doesn't work. With regular academic work to get better in a particular area. What are you doing to improve your child in that particular area?
Right.
That's it.
Right. Awesome. So I know you talked about this, right? And then and since you started to answer, let me just quickly ask that question. Because one thing is that when at home, parents can use the child teacher's name to scare them. Like, I'm going to call your teacher now. Ah, no, don't call my teacher, don't call my teacher. And then you just think that is it still finished? I know you said talk a bit about it, but how do teachers do it? Practically now, right? Just so that some of us can learn. How do teachers do it so that and you see that these children still like their teachers, they still want to. I'm going to be as practical as possible. My son, right? So if I say I'm going to come, Mr. Owo, but then again, when he says Mr. Owo is my friend, I want to see Mr. Owo, like he likes Mr. Owo, but he's afraid of Mr. Owo at the same time, right? So what do you people do in school? How do you balance this? How do you impose in and still a good kind of fear, and at the same time they love you genuinely? What are you people doing in school in terms of interacting with these children? I really want to know, and that's what we all want to know.
Okay. So the question is about finding a balance, right, between toughness and friendliness. I think I got you right. The network is a bit shaky, but I think I got the question right. Yeah. Okay. So this is it. There are many communication styles that teachers will use with children that can make them bond with them and can also be firm with them when they need to be. And I'm just going to explain what I mean. So basically, there are 4 communication styles. There's a non-assertive communication style. The non-assertive communication style, this will also work for parents, for parents that are joining us here. The non-assertive communication style, you don't want to be judgmental. You don't really want to talk. You rather shy away when a child is doing something. You don't want to be seen as, oh, the wicked teacher. So you're excessively kind. You're excessively nice. You want to do everything right. That's assertive. There's the aggressive one. Aggressive teacher that is always angry every day for no reason. The teacher that just comes to school with a frown. The teacher that doesn't want to smile, doesn't want to interact. It's either my way or no way. So there's that kind of teacher.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not the kind of teacher that the children will bond with. So there's the non-assertive, there's aggressive, okay? There's the assertive kind of communication style. Now, the assertive is that balance that, that you're talking about now. Now, the assertive communication style is straightforward in feedback. You're honest, you're straightforward in your feedback. Now, you're not you're not in fear of the child or the person you're communicating with. You're also not communicating with them in a way that them low or that debases them, even when they've done something wrong that you want to correct. You're correcting firmly, but still with love. So you are such you assert your authority as a teacher firmly. For me, how do I do this? I use something I call the sandwich approach. The sandwich approach in communicating with the children I work with, whether in written form. Please, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Hello? Okay, so
I can hear you.
I use some. I think it's a network. Okay, so basically, what does the sandwich approach mean in communication? Just like the way a sandwich will have 3 layers. The top layer, that's the bread and all that, the middle layer with the vegetables, and then the bottom layer. Now, when I'm communicating with children, whether, yes, I'm talking to them, I'm writing it down in their report cards. What I do is, first of all, I try to mention something positive. Something positive. Then I go on, to the second layer in the middle, to something I think the child needs to improve on, something the child hasn't done right, something the child can still work better on. And then finally, I end on a positive note. So even when a child has made lots of mistakes, the child has done everything wrong, I don't just go straight to say, oh, no, you are this, that, the troublesome child. Yet, no. Start with something positive. Because there will always be something positive that, a child has done, or something positive that you can attribute to a child. So start with something positive, move next to that area you want to, you want to give feedback on, and finally end with something positive. So yes, to really focus on the question, it's about how well as a teacher you assert your authority. That's it. That's what creates that balance.
Wow. So, and that's what parents need to replicate, asserting your authority and still balancing it at the same time. Because I think this is what some parents miss. You see that children love their teachers and are still afraid of their teachers. And then when it's mommy and daddy, they're not even listening to anything that mommy and daddy is saying. But once you mention teachers, they just adjust. It's like, I wish I could come and do like one week, but can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. Oh my gosh. But she's going to be back very soon. This network is a liar. Right? Has anybody ever experienced it? Let me know, right? Because just so I'm told I'm not the only one at the table, you still have, they will love their teachers and they're still afraid of their teachers. And then when it comes to parents, come and sit down here, and then sometimes my parents tell them that when they get to school, they'll see their child sitting down on the chair, like paying attention. But at home, to sit down, running everywhere, jumping up and down. But in school, they cannot do all the scattering and all that stuff they do at home. In school, they are well behaved, well composed. Yes, they play, but all that thing that they do at home, all that. So I'm just wondering, like, what really is going on here? How are you both doing it? I went to the class, I see my class sit down in class. So you can sit down like this. You can sit down like this. Amazing. I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm hearing this. So we can try the standard approach, like Kemi said. You start with something, and I think I'm more personal to ask her, and I'm just wait for her to come back. When you know that because she's stuck in the question, don't bump into me now. I don't forget it. So yes, and I think she's right. No, I don't think that she's right, right. A child that starts with something good, something positive about that child. Then you talk about what that child has done wrong. Then again you now end it with something positive again. I genuinely I would try that approach. Though in my head I'm like, can you work on something? Because those ones can be a lot. Right, but I mean, this is good and valuable content. Welcome back, Emmy. Welcome back. I hope you can hear me.
Really apologize. My network.
No problem. We understand. In this country of Nigeria, our network is great and blessed. So it's fine. So I was going to say that, I like the sandwich approach that you said. Makes a lot of sense. So start with something positive a child has done, then address the issue, then still wrap up something positive. So for example, maybe a child who hasn't, because this one happened, the parents got the child's report from school and it wasn't so good, right? Can you apply a sandwich because the child hasn't done well, as in terms of results in class? How do you address that as a parent with that child? Can we? Because there's nothing good to compliment at that time. But I mean, you know better, Yamone. Do you think that? How do you think is the best way to address something like that?
Okay. So a child has come on with a result that isn't too good, and then it looks as if there's nothing here. Maybe the report card is filled up with reds, F's, and all that. How do you address that? Still using the sandwich approach. Now, first of all, it won't be right to just start by hammering on everything on that report card. There must be something positive first use, to start. Something good that the child, something to let the child know that there is more inside of you. The fact that you've come up with this result doesn't mean that this is you. It doesn't mean that you can't be smarter than this. Remind the child of something good the child has done. Just start off with something that will first smile. So yes, you're still going somewhere. You've not arrived at the destination. But first start with something. I just remember, like, I like the way you arranged the table this morning, or maybe yesterday. It was so start with anything. Right? So yes, for me, what do I do in my report cards? I'm still coming back to parents, but I'm going to use a typical example of what I use in my report cards. I've had cases of children where I look at them and it feels as if there's nothing positive to write. The child is in a lot of trouble, the child is disturbing, there's so much. But then what do? I start to observe them carefully because I know at the end of the term I'm going to write a report card comment. So I try to start looking for the positive. It could be something very little. It could be maybe how the child arranges his or her desk. It could be how the child is always organized before a class. It could be how the child eats in a very tidy way, or how the child will eat without you forcing the child. I just look for something positive. And the thing is, I always find. So I start off with something positive like that. So that's what I think parents should do to when children bring home report cards. Start off with something about your child. Then look through the report card with the child. Let the child look at it. Let the child reflect on it. Ask the child what went wrong, what could have gone better, what does the child not, you've gotten this result. Can you see, do your mates have 2 heads? Or how many heads? Get all of growing up, right?
Yeah.
How many heads do your mates have? Because you're only damaging something in that child. You're damaging self-esteem. So reflect through that report card with the child. Let the child know your expectations. And before you even start hammering on the child, at the beginning of the term, did you even sit to have a conversation with the child about the expectations you want? Did you sit with the child how both of you will achieve those expectations? Because sometimes really on the report card of a child is actually the report card of the parents, not the child. Because the children will do the children have their part, right? But parents have their own investments.
Awesome.
During examinations, as the parents, did you revise with the child? Did you, did you let the child use positive words of affirmations? What is your contribution? Because that report card is a reflection of you and the child. So that's what I finally, wrap up the conversation with the child about what you think the child will do better, and then how you also work to achieve those goals.
I love it. I love it. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Totally love that. Totally love that. Now, this is an interesting question I'm about to ask, and that's the clash that parents and teachers have. I've heard a lot on it. I've seen plenty on Instagram. I've witnessed a lot, and it happens a lot, right? When parents and teachers are parents just come from school. Where is that teacher? Blah blah blah. And there's one class goes back. So my question is, from your experience, right? What are some of the things that cause clashes between parents and teachers? And have you ever experienced, and if you can give us a practical example, that would be nice, right? But what causes it, and what do you think can be done about it from both sides, both teacher and parent side?
Okay, so yes, I've had experiences like that, yes, but very few, very few. Now, why would that happen?
Right.
Because how do I put it? There are two things that are involved here. Number one is respect for yourself as a teacher. Knowing, respect and understanding. That's what I'm going to say. First of all, respect. When you understand your place as a teacher, you will know how to interact with parents. You're interacting with them as humbly as possible. You're carrying them along with, their children's activities. So respect, first of all, for yourself as a teacher, because sometimes when we hear about all the bad goose in quotes, there's been a breach of someone is not respecting himself or herself as it should be. Number one, the next one is an understanding of your role as a teacher. So another thing that causes some of those issues will be parents are unaware about certain things about their children, and suddenly something happens and they just find out that, this particular thing has been going wrong with my child for the whole term or for 3 weeks, and they didn't tell me why, this, that, and then everywhere gets turned into something else. So respect, understanding of your roles as a teacher. When you understand your roles, you carry the parents along. When you write something in the communication book and they don't see it, or they don't respond, or they don't sign that they've seen it, you send them a text message. When you send them a text message, they don't acknowledge it again, please call them. When you call again, use different means of communication to make sure that you reach the parents, of the children you work with. So yes, going back to me, have I had? Yes. And I'm good. I'm going to go back to, this was a while ago, right? Now there was this child that was, doesn't really do assignments. So day in, like it has happened a lot of times. I put it in the communication book. Dear parents, please work with so and so on assignments. She doesn't, I put that already. But there was no feedback, there was no acknowledgement, there was nothing. It had been happening for a while. And then I had to take it to the head of school to say, okay, please help me look into this. This child, isn't doing his assignment, and I think the parents should be aware and all that. So the head of school took it up, called the parents and said, okay, please look into your child's assignment. And the parents led up, and the parents were like, oh, she's coming to school the next day to meet Mr. Busaya. That why, she was upset that, I actually didn't place a call across. That was what she was upset about, that, I should have called or something. Now, that was like my very first day of teaching, and that was the biggest conflict I ever had. And it was from that experience I learned, right, to make sure that I maximize all means of communication. I expect call, email, text. You must see one of them at the end of the day. So it was that. So it was just a basic misunderstanding. And so when the parents came, we opened the communication book, and then the parents saw it that, this has been communicated to her regularly. She was calm. She was calm, because the role of the parents, is also to check those communication books daily, and also
Yeah.
whatever it's inside is, whether it's a memo or anything. So when she came to school, she saw it. I mean, the fight was over before it started.
Super. Right. Right. Amazing. Amazing. Awesome. Awesome. And then I think that some of the ones that I've seen is when children go back home to report their teachers to their parents. Maybe the teacher beats the child. Is that allowed though? I mean, I know that a lot of things have changed. When we were young in school, they used to flog us very well. Cane, bring you out on assembly ground, give you serious beating. And there was nothing like you report. That was like a given, but now like everything has totally changed. We grew up with beating, and you will be wearing boxers and jeans under that. But everything has really changed now. Like, I mean, any small thing, children. I mean, what do you think about this policy or this process where now everything has totally changed? You don't touch children, and if you, I mean, I don't know, but from your own person, what do you think about that, right? In terms of beating children in school, maybe spanking them, correcting. And I know that even with correction in school, there's a limits to how much. How does this affect your work as a teacher? Do you think that not being able to because I mean I don't know if there's a stage that you should still beat a child. Maybe when they are much younger, of course, there will be no money to beat, but at least at a certain level at home I know parents to beat their children. What do you think about this whole thing?
Okay, so first of all, I mean, beating or no beating in school, I mean, first of all, it comes from the school's policy. Some schools have it in their policy stated expressly. In this school, I mean, we don't use the cane, we use other means of discipline. And then in some schools, it's allowed. So what do I think personally? For me as a teacher, I mean, I will stand by the no beating policy, and I'm going to explain why. Now,
Yeah.
beating as it is, I mean, there are many excesses that are attached to beating. Most times, I mean, for us growing up, I'm going to say this. I mean, when I started teaching, I thought about all the negative experiences I had. I mean, secondary school. I mean, I listed them out, and I knew that I didn't want this to be repeated with the children I'll be working with. And then for me, it was excessive flogging. I mean, I can remember. I mean, I have experiences in my mind of all those.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want it, and so there have to be other disciplinary approaches to explain the work done. Most times when you see teachers flogging, it's out of excessive emotion. They are flogging not to they're just flogging to inflict pain. And what is discipline? Is discipline about inflicting pain or inflicting a change in behavior? That draw the line there. A teacher will give all the children in class 10 strokes of cane. When he gets home, he can't raise his hands up. He has to massage his hands because for other approaches. So yes, for me in my classroom, number one, the school policy doesn't support beating, so I abide by that. And then I try to for other disciplinary approaches to ensure that, I mean, to enforce discipline.
Maybe I would ask, what are some of these approaches? Sometimes, because some of the parents can even take from it, because everything is not beating. You know, I have a friend that even hit his child on the head. I said, why do you slap a child on the head? I mean, beat their butts. Why will you hit the head? And he's like, no, that's not. I'm like, eh? And the child is like 4 years old. In my head, I'm like, the head. Because in my head, don't touch my head, though. Maybe I'm the one that's the thing with head. But I mean, spank the child on maybe their hands or their butts, but not the head. But I mean, what are the non-disciplinary measures that you people use in school that some parents can
Okay, so cane aside now, what are some things I use? I mean, one of it will be sometimes the child might be denied some certain privileges. So I know that first of all the children like to go to the playground during lunchtime. If the child, I mean, doesn't like playground, the children have extracurricular activities, and I know that their parents bring them up for the extracurricular activities that they love. Whether it's ballet, whether it's taekwondo, whether it's swimming, but they love all of those extracurricular activities. So sometimes the child knows that, oh, Miss Ogusian can, I mean, go in for this activity. It helps them to comport a little bit. I mean, there are other things children will get access to in the classroom.
I like that.
I mean, another thing.
I like that.
Okay, for some cases when a child has done something wrong, if the child knows that the parents will be carried along, sometimes it helps them get into shape. But that only happens when even the parents is an authoritative parent, because there are instances in the classroom where the child will tell me, "No, my mom, she won't even do anything. Don't even." So, I mean, so I know what for each child. I know the child that if I pick up sending a message to your parents right now, the child is doing right now. The child will start crying without even me talking to feel bad about what he or she has done. So I know the child that will work for. I know the child that, I mean, it's something else that will entirely work for the child. So it's about studying them to know what. And sometimes what I do is having them, now this will take time, right? But having the child reflect over what has gone wrong. So I called the child, by my side. So this is what happened. What do you think about? Do you think you did the right thing? Do you think, we process, and then I let the child write through it. When the child writes, no, there's something missing there. You still need to add more details. You need to explain this. So I'm taking the child through a process.
Yeah.
Might not be what they enjoy, but that reflective process, the child most likely to come to my side again to live through, all of that vigor. That would take time, because if it's Kane, 1, 2, 3, you're done, everyone has gone. But is there something else that's been molded in that child? It's about character movement. Yes.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. Now, you said something about observing children when you started, right? How do you identify the strengths of your students and nurture it? Because this question would also help parents, right? What are the things you are looking at when you say observation? What are you really doing? How do you observe and nurture the strength?
Okay. So, how do I observe and nurture the strengths of the children I work with? Now, there's something, I always talk about when I talk to teachers, and I'm just going to mention it now. It's the concept of multiple intelligences. What does multiple intelligences mean? Multiple intelligences mean that, intelligence isn't, I'm the first in the class. I came second in my class. I collected award in this and that. Intelligence is diverse. Intelligence is diverse. There are different forms of intelligence. There's cognitive, there's mathematical, there's geographical. There are different forms of intelligence. Most of us grew up with that mentality of it's only when you come first, second, third that you're brilliant. After that, some children were not in the areas of their strength. So you know how to read, you know how to do this, you know how to do that. The parents don't see that as intelligence. You know how to draw, you can make sketches, you can do things. Parents don't often see that as a form of intelligence. Everything is math, English. But I think present times and present trends have shown us that math and English is not the only way forward. Few weeks ago, even today, right? We're all celebrating Toby Amuson, the sport that's broken barriers and all of that. How do you recognize, how do you identify the strength of your children? How do you observe it? First of all, you observe it from the little things they pick interest in, or maybe that they even love to watch. Sometimes they're not even doing it, but they just love to watch it. They see someone else doing it. Their attention is increasing. Their attention is increasing in that particular area. It might be something the child, sometimes children just talk about things and then actually paying attention to to the underlayer beyond the surface. Sometimes they just talk about things. In the midst of those conversations, we can pick out what their interests are, and that's the essence of bonding with children. One of the reasons why I created the resource earlier on when you started the family bonding pack. Yes, for everyone joining us, I'm just going to quickly chip it in right now. Yes, so
That's how we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up with you telling us about that, showing us how we can get to know that stuff. You have a session for that.
I'll come back to it. So a child, if you see a child who is naturally curious, the child just likes to ask questions. The child likes to find out, why is this thing like this? Sometimes parents will call it in local parlance, bebelube. The child always get shut up. That's some form of intelligence already. A child that just loves to go out, see things, that's another form of intelligence, right? That there's naturalist intelligence. There's A child that likes to, you find some children that they like to read, some just like to write, some want to just stay, I mean, collect their parents' phones, go on Snapchat, take pictures, do videos, record themselves. All those things are some forms of intelligence that can be groomed.
Mhm.
So don't just think,
Right.
go and sit down, shut up, what is this? No, there is more. So that, I mean, so just observing what catches their fancy, what they would rather spend their time on. All those things are their
Mhm.
pointers.
Amazing. Amazing. So let me just quickly ask before we wrap up. Now, the different learning capabilities of children. Some children are slow learners, some children are fast learners, some children are, how do you manage that as a teacher? How do you categorize and then pay more attention, and the one is not feeling like, oh, you're giving more attention to my child than this one? How do you do that?
So there are different ways that can be handled, but a teacher who is going to be able to, I mean, bring every child, I mean, focus on children who have struggles, like you said, is going to be the teacher who is able to make extra efforts, because oftentimes it doesn't come easy, right? For
Yeah.
me, what do I do as a teacher for a child who has, I mean, who might be having struggles in some certain areas? I don't want to call them slow learners. Yeah. Okay. So for me, what
Yeah.
I do is I try to make out time for those children. A regular lesson is just 40 minutes. Now, a child who is having some struggles might not be able to cope up or be at pace with other
Exactly.
things. So, what do I do?
Exactly.
At the end of the school day, between when school is over and when their parents come to pick them up, I try to engage those kind of children. So, you usually see them maybe around my table after school,
Okay.
just give them some extra activities. Sometimes I get their parents involved. I let them know, okay, hello, ma, please come to pick your child a little bit later. And then I don't just do that on my own. I carry the school along. So when
Wow.
the supervisor or maybe the head of school, so I don't just make those decisions alone. I let someone else know. So there's that what do I call it? So that bridge is
Yes,
what
yes, yes.
also do what else do I also do with such children? Sometimes I differentiate their tasks. What do I mean by that? I know what their abilities are. I know what they can undo. So sometimes their classwork, their activities, or their assignments are a little bit different from the others. Just in the process of bringing them up to the point they should be. There's that angle of differentiation. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And if I may ask, why did you decide to become a teacher? What
Hmm.
motivated this passion?
Okay, so it's really funny because I really did not want to teach. Yes. So this is the analogy
Wow.
I always use when people ask me this question. Imagine you've never eaten a particular food before and someone serves you a plate of food and they're like, eat it. And you're like, I'm not sure how this will taste. But then you take one spoon.
Mm.
You take another spoon. It's really
Mm.
nice. It's satisfying. And then you
Wow.
even ask for an extra plate. That's my story into teaching. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Amazing.
Sure, I really wanted to teach. But then going into the classroom from my very first year, I knew this is just it for me. I loved the experience. Relating with children brought a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment for me. And that's why I'm here.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I think yours is a ministry because sometimes some people don't know, but just so you know, I feel like some people it's like a calling, it's like a ministry, it's not a job, it's not a career. I think it's like ministry. So your last words for parents, one more word for parents. Tell us that what do you expect that parents must do for themselves and not impose on teachers? Just tell us one, two.
Okay, so dear parents, please make sure you instill the right values into your children
Mm,
before they come to school.
wow.
Don't leave it all to
Mm,
teachers to instill proper values, ideologies,
mm,
that into your children from home, and then let them come to school and let's build on it and all of that. So I think that it. Parents should value the bonding process with their
mm.
children, have more conversations with their children, know more about them. And yes, so yes, that's it for me.
So now Kelly's going to talk to us about her card. She has this should I call it a strategy or something that's going to help parents in terms of communicating with their children. So Kemi, over to you. Talk to us about that.
Okay, so I don't have the pack with me right now, but if you go to my page, if you check out my page, I'm so sorry. So I'm not, I mean, I'm not with the pack of cards where I am right now because I'm out. But if you check my page, you see
Okay.
what it looks like. It's called the Family Bonding Pack. It's a set of cards, 60 cards that have discussion points and critical thinking questions that parents can use with their children. Using those cards will help you know more about your child's preferences. It will help you know more about your child's thoughts, thinking patterns, and all of that. You can use the cards as a game. I mean, you can use it as a game with your children. You can use it at any time and at anywhere. I mean, parents have given me lots and lots of feedback about using the cards, about them discovering things about their children that they didn't even know before. So yes, it's called the Family Bonding Pack. It's a set of cards that help you discover more about your child. Yes.
So how can we get it?
Okay, so I mean, you may send me a DM, a direct message if you need it, or I mean, or
How much is it?
okay, so it costs 3,000 naira, 3,000 naira for the pack.
Awesome, awesome. We will be sending you a message. So guys, I wish you had it here. So it's like it's like cards, like you're playing cards, like what? Right? And then so there are questions on it that you can ask your children, just to allow them speak to you and you get to know more about them. Thank you so much, Emma. I know that you have to go now and all that. Thank you.
Thank
I wish that you could stay longer. I wish we could take more of your time, but alas. But thank you so much. I pray that God will continue to amplify your voice. God will continue to help you in this assignment. And every child that you are in contact with will always live better.
you.
God will grace you to always instill the right values, grace for the assignment, grace for the journey. Their lives will be shaped under you. You will help to nurture them, help to know that when they talk about you in future, it will only be of a good report. And this is still little compared to the height and opportunities that God gives you. You're going to stand before things. You will talk and teach, mentor teachers. It will be from glory to glory. In the name of Jesus, the least that you will be. And it's not a prayer, it's something that I can see and I know that it will happen.
Amen.
In Jesus' mighty name.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we can release you now. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. This is the Fed Talks, the monthly show. So you can please follow me, please follow me, please follow me. What we're doing is every month I bring people that have strengths in different topics, but they come to talk to us about different areas. And this period, for almost 2 months, we've been talking about raising children. We've been talking about it from the parental point of view. We have different parents. You can go back to check it. We have things that we come. We have just Ibe come. We have Falachade come. We talk about parenting soul of your child, role of parenting, raising children. The act of parenting children, it was amazing. We learned so much on different areas, different things that you must focus on as a parent with your children. And now we have to balance it with teachers because sometimes there are a lot of we impose a lot of things on teachers, right? But what really is the role of teachers? And that's what Kemi just trying to share with us. And I'm excited. This month we're still having another show. I know that a lot of things are happening in the world. The dollar is, Naira, everything, things are just, and we're going to be talking a bit about finance this month, and we're going to have a finance expert come talk to us. You should be in that session. Right, like I said, what we do here is we bring experts on different topics to come and talk to us, to come and shed light on different things for us. And we happen to follow, you will see you see the announcement as the month goes by. Anyways, happy new month again, everybody. Welcome to August. I'm super excited about this month. So many good things are going to happen for the August, and I'm so excited about them. For me and for you, I will have to say thank you for being a part of today's show. Thank you so much. Don't forget, Wisdom Tips continues on my YouTube page. You can click the link in my bio to get to my YouTube page. Every week, I share 5 minutes of wisdom tips that you would benefit from. But we had an amazing time today. It was such a good session. Thank you. It was really profound and amazing. Thank you guys for joining in. I'll see you again later in the month in our next session. It will be amazing. So please follow on YouTube and join the many things that I've been sharing and on my post. So I see you. Goodbye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your month. Bye for now.